Hi Taurus, this is your July 2020 tarot forecast. I cannot believe it's July. It's pretty crazy. I hope everyone's okay. It's been a wild ride, everybody, so far. July 2020. What does Taurus, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus need to know? Messages for Taurus, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus. All right, so we have a really cute Pisces ruled Knight of Cups jumping out for you. You could be dealing with a Pisces individual, or you could just be interested in having some sensitive communication or wearing your heart on your sleeve. You could feel pretty shy. We'll see if it shows up in your reading today, Taurus. Taurus, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, July 2020. That's just for Taurus, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus. All right, guys, so we're going to be doing a Celtic Cross, as always. I will not be using a second deck to qualify. I find that is just a really big chunk of time for a 20-minute reading. If you want me to use 2 decks, you can always get a private reading with me, and I'm happy to do that. So starting off with some amazing strong energy for you here. There's some Cups energy there. There it is. There's that Knight of Cups showing up here by the 3rd week. So wow, nice Cups energy here, guys. You are really interested. There could be a Cancer individual involved. There could be an old broken heart situation and a new direction. So yeah, you know, communication, facts, the facts and only the facts, right? So just realized that was all wonky. So yeah, you could be dealing with another Taurus individual, Cancer individual, some long-standing, say, commitment or institutional energy here, a sense of victory. There is some, you know, nostalgia, maybe a reunion here, feeling really good, feeling really positive in your own power here. Here's where we're looking at some sensitive communication. Perhaps you're wishing or wanting some sensitive communication with a Pisces or a Pisces type person, or just sensitive communication could be a big part of it as well. Feeling understood by somebody, you know, and like I said here, you know, we do have both a 4 and a 3 of Swords. So, you know, by the time we're looking at these base, you know, next to each other, particularly, even though they're 2 and 4 weeks, 2 weeks and then 4 weeks, you know, there could be a sense of stability here, but, you know, don't be fooled. There is still an essence of a broken heart here. So, excuse me. So whatever direction you're moving into, it looks like it's going to be a new direction, but it's probably going to occur after, say, some sensitive communication. Here's where the bottom of the deck energy, this is what I'm going to call the basket that your reading sits in. This is sort of the energy behind everything here, and it looks like the facts and only the facts. So this is pretty much the coldest card in the deck, but it's also the most honest card in the whole deck. So if you're going to have some sensitive communication or have a reunion with somebody, why not do it within the spirit of honesty? And this is really nice to see, actually. So this is Aquarius energy. Aquarius energy can be accused of being cold. They can be accused of being distant, but they cannot be accused of being liars. So, you know, I'd rather know, and I hope that you agree, Taurus, that you'd rather know exactly what's on someone's mind and that you won't be fooled by them, or you're not going to be cajoled, or you're not going to be, they're not going to twist things. They're going to be very honest, and if they don't understand something, they're going to make time to find out what is at the root of something. So this person is also incredibly knowledgeable. They have an extremely mature sense of ethics and morals, and they're also probably 10 to 1, this person or energy is incredibly learned and educated. So this is a very intellectual energy, very high-powered intellectualism. You could be dealing with a lawyer, a judge, a police officer. This is, you know, someone who attends to ledgers and, you know, cites contract law. I mean, there could be contracts and, you know, just something having to do with the legal world, but ultimately this is someone who's going to, you know, cite legislation. It could be a legislator, it could be political, but someone who's very adept and able and willing to, say, cite sources and, you know, relevant data and that type of thing. So someone who's just extremely knowledgeable. Here with the situation and what's crossing it, we have the Queen of Pentacles qualified or crossed by the Hierophant. So we're looking at your energy here. This is Taurus energy, but ultimately what the Hierophant is talking to is about long-standing traditions. This could be a church. And you know, this could be someone who is very high up in the church. This would be a cardinal or a pope or something. If this is a church reading for you, it's a general reading for me, so I don't know what's going on with you particularly. But that's what it's looking at, like, you know, some high-powered stuff. Or again, you know, contracts, laws, commitments, marriage, the institution of marriage. Basically, you know, any institution, long-standing institution, including marriage. But contracts could be a big part of it. And then we have 10th house, right? 10th house, Queen of Pentacles. So this person is receptive. This person is able to grow things very easily, very nurturing, naturally nurturing. But again, you know, back to the 10th house, this is status quo. This is paternity. This is the father. This is, you know, grandfather, long-standing traditions. So there could just be something that you are stuck with. I don't see you really necessarily mad about it. You're just sort of here. But there could be a Taurus, Capricorn situation here for you as well. She is kind of looking directly at this. So you could just be looking at long-standing traditions. There could be something having to do with the family, I'll be honest, because we do have the Queen of Pentacles, 10th house, and then we have the Chariot, which is Cancer ruled, and that's the home. So, you know, public life, private life, that type of thing. So could have to do with a Cancer individual or just someone within the home or something about the home, contracts, commitments, intellectualism, something of that degree, you know, contracts, alliances, police, institution of marriage, you know, something that is long-standing, probably old, something that can be considered old. All right, and in the foundation, we have the Nine of Pentacles, which is independent wealth, right? Independent health and wealth, I would say, for the Nine of Pentacles. You can sort of see she's pretty cozy there. She's got some jewelry on. She's got a pretty mask and a cape. So she's wearing her finest goods, but this is a really positive position to be in. But with the Six of Cups crowning this foundation position, you could be longing for this. You could be seeking this sense of, you know, coziness and, you know, I've got what feels good to me. I've got my relations. You know, this is a very practical energy when we're looking at pentacles. We're looking at what we can, you know, noun, right? People, places, or things, as opposed to how you feel about that. So you could be longing for a sense of really feeling positive in your own power, really feeling confident and comfortable having the assets and refinery that you have. Either you're seeking that is your foundation, or you're longing for that. Here in your recent past, we have the Cancer ruled Chariot. So there is a major victory in your recent past, which is nice to see. It is bookending the situation and what's crossing that with the Four of Swords. So there's this sense of, you know, rest and recovery maybe necessary after dealing with a Cancer individual or a major victory, maybe having to do with the home or a vehicle. Or short distance travel is indicated here as well. But, you know, the light and the dark side, being able to see both sides, being able to see both positions, and then taking action, moving into the direction of your dreams in your recent past. So this is really nice to see here. It looks like some ground has been covered, some success or some sense of victory has been situated or experienced here. But it is interesting that for whatever reason, despite the sense of victory and moving in confidently into a positive direction here for you, you know, at least by the end of the, say, second week, there is this period of rest and recovery that's necessary for you here. And there's no accident in looking right at this, you know, sort of broken-hearted Three of Swords, where, you know, there is some creative potential here, but I'm going to suggest here that this could be some old energies, just something that sort of isn't sitting well, or something that despite a sense of victory is still going to take a little bit of time to sort of recover from somehow. I don't know what that is. I just really don't. But, you know, Taurus, you will hopefully this will make sense for you by the second week in July, right? Here is what's crowning you, and this is a sense of reunion, nostalgia, or sentimentality. So you really want to get back to, this could be a child. Could have to do with a child that you're going to feel better, you're going to feel more complete, or that, you know, your life is more complete, or you're happier, more content if you reunite or connect with this person or people. It could be a child or a feeling that you have from childhood, or something that you promised to yourself from childhood. There is a little bit of longing here. I do see this. In both the foundation and what's crowning you. Here in your near future is, I just pointed out, the Four of Swords is looking at a rest and recovery, right? So coming out of something, coming through something. And it's interesting, as you well know, you know, it's something that's already broken your heart that's going to show up again, because the 3 comes before the 4. But we're reverse here. We're like, we have to rest and recover, but then we have to experience it again. So whatever you've rested and recovered from here, a little bit of a broken heart situation, is just going to keep, it's reappearing. So somehow create or invent a new direction with it, because it's not really going to go anywhere. It's just something that's just going to exist. So coming to terms with it. Recovery and rest is going to be necessary around an old broken heart issue, perhaps with a child, something about the home, perhaps a Cancer, Taurus, or Aquarius individual, perhaps even a Pisces individual. But these are really interesting to have here together. In the position of how you see yourself is, you know, having, I would say, a soft heart, you know, being open to having emotional discussions, being able to express your emotions freely. And then interestingly enough, you know, how others see you is having an emotional wish come true, right? Having this emotional need for soft, say, sensitive, maybe even poetic, you know, heartfelt communication would be a wish come true for you. And, you know, this longing is intense. This is an intense longing. It feels like it could be dragging on. But look at your hopes and fears. It just keeps coming back. So, you know, whether or not this is about another person, Taurus, I'm going to suggest that this stage in the game, we're here in the 3rd week, up to the 4th week of the month for you. It might just be a nice time for you guys to situate a problem or a concern for yourself. I just don't know if we're ever going to get to the end of whatever this, you know, broken heart is, or this old concern, or something that's sort of that you've had to live through, that type of thing. You know, if there's ever going to be a point to try to fix this with another person, or agency, or theme, or event, or time period, I think what it's going to come down for you is to come to terms with this yourself. This is offering a creative solution, but this is about the past haunting you, really, more than anything, and it's really in your mind. So it's the type of thing, it's, you know, are you letting the past live in your head rent-free type thing, is where I'm gonna sort of direct that 3 of Swords energy there. But, you know, if you're carrying around the past and it has to do with something else, and communication, soft, generous communication isn't the answer for whatever reason, and you can't get through to this person for whatever reason, then, you know what, Taurus, you're just going to have to move in a direction where you're dealing with this on your own, or with a professional at this point, because the 2 of Wands is your advice card, and it's saying, you know what, a new direction is necessary. You're going to make a decision. All right, this is a choice. What direction are you going to be moving in from now on? So let's get another card to qualify one of these cards here. What is it that needs to... I'm really going to pay attention to the 6 of Cups, but I'm going to relate it to the other Cups energies. What is it about the past? What is it about the past that you're longing for? What do you need to communicate about the past? What do you need? Why is the 6 of Pentacles crowning this Celtic Cross? 7. Wow, this Cup's energy, guys. So you have a lot of choices. You have a lot of ways to deal with this. You might even have a lot of input. You may even have a lot of ideas or even ways to feel. You may not even know what to do about how to heal or what to say. You know what, Taurus? Maybe it's just time to get some professional advice. Maybe this is what the king is saying here, okay? Maybe just feeling and worrying and stressing and getting so far and having to start over really isn't the best use of time. Maybe it's time to look for advice from a professional. So I'm going to suggest if you're sort of beating your head against the wall around an emotional issue, around a sense of sentimentality, childhood, a child, or reuniting or nostalgia, whatever that is, you know, you're going to have to pick something and follow through rather than sort of this sense of reactivity, like I'm gonna receive whatever they're bringing, but I'm just gonna react to that. No, I think it's time to just make a decision, make up your mind about making a decision about how to handle something that could be emotionally tough for you. Really interesting reading, really interesting reading. It could be that going to the other person, if it's a conflict, isn't the answer anymore. Maybe you just need to deal with that yourself. Okay, we have a lot jumping out of that deck. Just getting your oracles here to polish off your reading for you guys. It is interesting to see so many swords and cups in the same reading, because I know that that's a real struggle. You're dealing with something. You're still sort of the beginning stages of something. If you're at the swords level, right, it's still at the mind or concept, and then it's affecting the way you feel. So getting out of your head and communicating something openly and honestly, probably having to do with your emotional world, is going to be very, very important to you. I am not surprised to see deception. I'm really not surprised to see that card. We'll look at it in a second. It's not the first time also, Taurus, that I've seen a family issue, a child or something from childhood show up in your reading as well. So there could be something regarding a child here for you as well. We're seeing deception twice here, guys. I'm seeing 2 cards of deception. Who's deceiving whom? Que bono. Who's benefiting? If it's you and you're benefiting from deceiving somebody, stop that. If it's not you and you're aware that someone is deceiving you, then stop that. Don't let them do that, right? So we have a million cards here, guys. They all jumped out. I'm going to fly through this because we're at 18 minutes. What the heck? Time just flies. We have nature and power. So nature is speaking to time, right? Time. That's it. It's just time. It's just stuff that's out of our hands. We just have to go with the flow. That's all that is. Nature, part of nature, processes, themes, cycles, right? People's nature, both yours and someone else's. And then power. Power is interesting because it speaks to power within, power without, and power over. So the power over yourself, not over others, is true power. Power within, as opposed to power without. So power within, taking control, as opposed to power without, which is victimhood. So how are you using your nature? How are you allowing other people to be natural? And how is power being used in this environment? Very interesting to see deception and camouflage show up in these cards. Deception with the owl. This is also the card of the magician and the sorceress. So whoever you can see through you. Just be aware of that here with the owl. There's also a shadow self that can be manifested here. But ultimately, deception, just make sure some magic isn't being used against you. I would work within threes. The rule of 3, what you give out will be returned to you threefold, etc. And then camouflage, right? So like, what are you protecting, I guess is what I would ask here. What are you protecting and why? because there's camouflage and deception here. So it's just interesting to see that energy together. Here we have retreat and deception, guys. It's just, so retreat specifically to the Four of Swords, right? It's time to disconnect from the world, rest and recovery. You just need to take a step back from something. You may need official advice or input not related to your emotional world. This is, remember, the facts and nothing but the facts, but at least you can trust them. And then deception. Someone is wearing a false self mask in this relationship. Why? Why is someone wearing a false self mask? Who would do this? Who has the time? What would be the reason? What are they gaining? What do they have to lose if they're found out? I mean, I have a lot of questions about those cards. The level of deception in this month's reading for you is off the charts. So again, I think if you can recognize in yourself, if it's you, Taurus, check yourself on that. If you can recognize that it's someone in your environment, it doesn't matter if it's work, leisure, or play. You know, why are you allowing this type of deception, this level of deception in your environment? It's just, it's beneath you. So, you know, you're going to try to rise above that, but you're going to have to pay attention to what it is. You're going to have to, you know, pinpoint it and have the courage to pinpoint it, see it for what it is. And the final cards in your reading here with the oracles are go the distance, here and now, and yang. So go the distance is follow through, okay? If it feels like a race, if it feels like it's never going to end, if it feels like you're on an uphill battle, it probably is. But what are you going to do? Taurus, I mean, you might as well follow through, right? So very, very interesting. We have here and now. We have to be in the present. The past really isn't going to solve anything. You do have to make a decision. You have a choice to make here about how you're going to exert yourself, you know, going into August. I think if you're dragging something around that's just painful at this point, you know, why would you be doing that? What is that serving? So here and now is very important for you. Living in the present, putting the past behind you is going to be essential for health. And then yang. So this is really nice. I don't see this card very often anymore, but yang is exertion. Yang is male energy. It's male force. It is absolute taking action. Make a decision and move in this direction. Refuse to be a victim, guys. Refuse to live in the past. Refuse to be a victim. If you are missing someone, if you can't make a decision, if you have too many options, just make a decision and move with that one for a little bit. And if it doesn't work, guess what? Make another decision. But you know, this sense of, I wish, you know, if wishes were fishes, I'm yearning. There's the past and there's the future, but I'm having a really difficult time being right here in the moment. You know, maybe that's your challenge this month, Taurus. It's just like, let's work on being in the moment. Let's work on being right here and being present, and being appreciative. And if you find that you can't, and there is such level of deception or such level of camouflage or deceit or a sense of not being able to appreciate the natural cycle and flow of things, including relationships, then you're going to need some professional advice at this point, whether that's legal or clinical. So guys, that is your reading. I really hope it was helpful. That's the whole point. I hope it's helpful. I hope it gives you some warnings so you can avoid some of these traps here. But this deception stuff, it's double fold, so check that out. And good luck with everything. Let me know in the comments below how the month works out for you. And I'll see you in the next video for your sign. Bye for now.